Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast series of HCLTech Aerospace and Defense Practice. Myself, Anshul Sharma, Industry Principal for Aerospace and Defense at HCLTech. And today I have with me Michael Blank, who is a subject matter expert within our HCLTech SAP practice in North America. Michael has about 25 years of SAP experience, which is significantly focused around aerospace and defense industry. And today, Mike is going to talk about two project-based financial reporting solutions developed in SAP to cater to the needs of aerospace and defense sector. And these two solutions are called grouping, pegging, and distribution, which is GPD. And the second one is next generation S4 HANA replacement, which is called project manufacturing management and optimization, that is PMMO. So, welcome, Mike, to this podcast, and great to have you here. Um, Before we deep dive into these two solutions, could you tell us what is the need for such financial reporting solutions in aerospace and defense industry? And then in detail, could you elaborate on these two available solutions within SAP called GPD and PMMO?
Yes, thank you for having me. Uh, Aerospace and defense A&D corporations have been participating in project-oriented manufacture or that participate in project-oriented manufacturing require visibility to recognize cost against the requiring contracts on the receipt/slash payment of purchased material. So the possibility of merging requirements in MRP stands for Material Requirements Planning from multiple contracts and or plants and fulfilling these from a common established set of replenishment orders, they require project finance control for material and logistical flexibility to improve efficiency. The GPD solution optimizes project manufacturing by grouping these disparate material requirements from different projects for purchase and manufacture of parts. And it is essentially an inventory process that moves parts and their associated costs between contracts by automatically assigning and reassigning materials to contracts. Let me start by defining what is meant by the three terms grouping, pegging, and distribution. Grouping in simple terms is assembling, grouping common requirements or demands all together and producing them in grouped lot sizes, hence the term grouping. Material is then owned by the group once it is brought into stock. For common inventory management in MRP, one will integrate material requirements from several what we call work breakdown structures, which are the building blocks of a project, often referred to as a WBS, for different projects or plants into one or more grouping WBS elements, a grouping WBS element being nothing more than a type of WBS. This results in a higher efficiency to produce and procure materials and lower costs. The pegging component of the GPD function allows a connection association between the demand object, what we refer to as things like reservations, uh, independent requirements, customer independent requirements, these types of requirements, and a supply object, production orders, purchase orders, planned orders, purchase recs in SAP. The relationship is needed to appropriately distribute the cost further. Now let's come to distribution. Distribution distributes the individual actual base labor and material from the group WBS that's been collecting back to the individual WBS elements, the requirements, if you will, or if it's a sales order based or make to order, it's a sales order based WBSs based on the quantities and WBS elements assigned during pegging. The following financial processes are run: overhead, results analysis, and settlement uh, to complete the financial end-to-end process. Now
Okay.
let's come to PMMO, which is the successor solution to GPD and is a core component of S4 HANA. PMMO optimizes material requirements planning for procurement and manufacturing of common parts across different projects, resulting in fewer process steps in order, improving logistics and operational efficiency in the same way that GPD does. It provides advanced capabilities, though, for make to order, make to project, and engineer to order manufacturing processes and enables cost tracking to a degree that we didn't see with GPD.
Okay. Well, thanks, Mike, for introducing those GPD and PMMO solution components of SAP. Now, could you tell us what are the use cases for these GPD and PMMO solution components, specifically for aerospace and defense companies? And maybe if you could elaborate on some of these use cases.
Yes, absolutely. So there are three primary use cases where the GPD PMMO solution components in SAP can deliver business value to the aerospace and defense customer base: defense, commercial, and MRO, or maintenance, repair, and overhaul. Now let's look at the defense use case. The defense use case centers around how prime contractors doing business with government agencies have additional regulatory requirements. Some of the primary ones you might be aware of are the Federal Acquisition Regulations, or FAR, the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulations Supplement, or DFARS, and the Material Management and Accounting System Regulations, or MMAS. These contain requirements in terms of cost reporting and project-based accounting due to complex manufacturing processes, which cover product definition and quotation, material and resource planning requirements, logistics, and final shipping. For example, contract information has to flow down to the purchase orders requisitions and the associated related documents. In addition, these cost flow down requirements are mandated for prime contractors as well as their tier 2 suppliers, meaning some or all contract clauses in the prime contract must flow down or apply to each of the subsequent subcontractors. Now let's switch over to the commercial use case. This centers around efficient lot sizing, procurement, and consumption of project stock throughout the planning and production processes. Typically, customers in commercial businesses want the stock to be planned collectively to achieve economies of scale. The traditional MTS, or make to stock, or sometimes referred to as plant stock inventory solution, is perfectly suitable for these applications or purposes. The solution becomes increasingly difficult to manage if project-specific execution and reporting are required. As the percentage of project-specific requirements increases, the ability to meet customers' reporting requirements diminishes significantly when using an MTS solution. Companies are then forced to strike a balance between plant and project requirements and inventory. This difficulty increases as the percentage of common parts in the supply chain increases. This necessitates a solution that can show buying, consumption, and reporting on a per project basis, and can also maintain a common inventory of pool of parts available to all projects, which is where this commercial use case becomes valid.
Thank you, Mike, for describing both the commercial as well as the defense use cases. As you mentioned about PMMO, that it is the successor solution to GPD. So, what are the benefits that we are seeing, of PMMO over the GPD solution, and what is the value that aerospace and defense clients are seeing in the solution?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the GPD limitations are addressed in the PMMO solution in S/4HANA. PMMO is a significantly improved solution with several functionality improvements and a reduced need for customizations by the customer. For example, an improved user experience, including several Fiori tiles, enhanced traceability all the way to the serial number level, and error handling that far exceeds anything you saw in GPD. There's support for MRP areas, additional MRP data capture. The stock transport order pegging is now better integrated. You have enhanced messaging and logs for distribution postings, as well as better tracking of when things are not distributed or what might not be distributed. And you have more information related to purchasing document items, material, and plan.
Okay. Thank you, Mike, for highlighting those benefits. Could you tell us if there are any alternative, specifically non-SAP alternative solutions to GPD or PMMO? And secondly, what is the value that these SAP-enabled solutions provide over some of the available alternatives?
Yes, yeah, there's a solution that Oracle offers called Oracle Project Manufacturing, which has a concept called project groups, which utilizes a concept called group netting, which is similar to what you see with GPD PMO, where a plan is netted within a planning group or multiple projects, and replenishments can then be soft pegged to the projects within that group in the same fashion that you see with GPD or PMO. The SAP PMMO solution provides additional value in two areas. First, the tightly coupled integration with the other SAP modules, primarily project systems and MRP. And number two, the supporting applications for report and analysis enable a more out-of-the-box solution without significant enhancements and customization, typically required of what I would consider are more niche solutions like the Oracle Project Manufacturing.
Okay. So, Mike, what are your thoughts for existing GPD customers who are running, the ECC version of SAP and are moving to S/4HANA? Should they defer the move to PMMO until after the go live, or incorporate the transition as part of the go live?
It's a great question, and it's going to be a case-by-case basis. But what is really neat about what SAP does is PMMO has a unique functionality which allows for both GPD and PMMO to be run simultaneously in a test, or what we sometimes refer to as a non-production environment. What I recommend is run both GPD and PMMO side by side in a test box and do a comparison of the results. This allows the planning and execution areas of the business to really visualize the benefits of a more detailed pegging results, incorporating what you'll see as a hierarchical view with much improved visibility throughout the supply chain, and will really resonate with the planners. And once you bring them on board, they will see the solution for what it really, for the benefits that it really has, which is that incredible improvement in that visibility. And if the business is still unconvinced, then by all means, they can continue with GPD and defer the decision to a later date. And the SAP provides built-in migration tools, which is unusual. It's not usually seen for these types of transitions, and allows you to transition from GPD to PMMO and do all the table conversions. But make no mistake, the initiative will require significant IT and business input.
Okay. Thanks, Mike, for those wonderful insights around these two financial reporting solutions, GPD and PMMO, and highlighting some of those benefits for the aerospace and defense industry. Thank you for those wonderful insights. And we will see you all in our next podcast. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.